And so something caught my eye. It was a Silver Age Spider-Man book. What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is John and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. Recently I had the pleasure to attend for the very first time Wicked Comic-Con. I was really looking forward to this show, the fact that it was just one day, relatively close by, on a beautiful day, no less. I think everything really added up for a great trip. I wound up walking away with a huge stack of comics, large enough where I can't even hold it all up on screen, but it's a great mix of dollar books, of back issues, and even one Silver Age comic. But before we get into the haul itself, help me out, help the channel out by doing all the YouTube things, like, comment, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any new videos. So the first book I like to start off with is one that I got a signature for. This is Captain America issue 25, and it is the Ed McGuinness variant. And Ed McGuinness was a featured artist. He's the main one that I knew of the lineup that they featured at the convention. And little did I know, he's actually a native of Massachusetts and not too far away, I think over in Quincy, Massachusetts. Had this book. This is one of my, either my first book or one of my earliest books that I had from Ed McGuinness. I do love his dynamic, kind of cartoony, animated style. And it was such a pleasure to meet him. You can see his signature right here. In blue, excellent color choice from the artist. Apologies if there's glare from the lighting too, but had a short conversation with him, nothing too fancy, but you know, I think very modest guy, and really just a pleasure to interact with. So I got that done right away. There wasn't too much of a line either. I wound up arriving to the show around 11 a.m., about an hour after opening, and was pleased to see that it wasn't super crazy busy, although you know, more people would be arriving as the day went on. It's kind of funny, as I was organizing comics to share with you guys in this video, I put them in chronological order, and funny enough, it's a thing where it went from one comic to two comics at the next vendor, and it kind of exploded from there. So the first purchase I made from the day was this issue of Web of Spider-Man, issue 8. It's just a awesome Charles Vess cover. I'm not going for a full run or anything like that, but as I've picked up, you know, like the first appearance of Tombstone and some other Web of Spider-Man issues, I'm keeping an eye out for covers that really stand out. So Charles Vess does a fantastic job, just an all-around solid cover. Then this was a 2 for $5 deal. What drew my eye and what I really wanted to get was this issue of Moon Knight #2, the variant cover by Peach Momoko. This is one of the cases which is very much for both the modern Moon Knight and even older Moon Knight, where I have an omnibus or a trade paperback, and I'm always, conflicted about what single issues to get. However, with the Jed MacKay run, which this is a part of, there are a lot of fantastic variant covers. So I figured if I have the omnibus as my version to read, might as well pick up variant covers that really catch my eye. Once I saw this, I knew I had to find another book to pair with it for the $5 deal. And on totally opposite end of the spectrum, I went for the truly absurd and ridiculous. I've heard about this book, let's just say that, in the past. I got The Punisher Meets Archie. I've always wanted to read this. The concept itself is funny, but on top of it, it's got, I think this was the 90s? It might have been a little later, maybe late 90s, early 2000s. There's a die cut cover here. Archie is behind a die cut cover, so that's perfectly gimmicky. I think the first Punisher comic I ever bought when I first started collecting was Punisher Warzone #1, that had the red cover, John Romita Jr., also a die cut, so totally appropriate. I can't wait to read this, and I actually might even try to get my wife to read this because she used to read some Archies in her youth. The last kind of single book I got, this one was a great deal. I think I wound up scoring this for, I would say like $5, maybe a little less. And it's this issue of Daredevil, issue 169, well-known cover featuring Bullseye, who has really just lost it and just starts saying everyone on the streets as Daredevil. So there's going to be more Daredevil coming up in this video, just as a heads up. It's something I'm really, I think if you have been watching my previous videos, it's been something I've been kind of getting deeper and deeper into. So this convention certainly helped add to that obsession. Moving on, and apologies, I did not necessarily get kind of the vendor names for all the places I purchased at, but two of my next kind of large in quantity purchases came from vendors that had short boxes that were just 50% off. And there's definitely some deals to be had. So here I got a little bundle. It's Daredevil again, right? Daredevil 201. And I'll try to move past anything that's not key issue, but I like this one. Besides featuring Black Widow, it's a John Byrne cover, so always good for that. Got Captain America issue 312 here, and this is the first appearance of Flag Smasher, who a version of the character was featured in the Winter Soldier Falcon series on Disney+. So this one, well, I've mostly got, for $1, most of my Captain America books. This one was a whopping $5. I really just want to kind of complete that run, the Mark Gruenwald written run, and there's also, I mentioned Daredevil, there's gonna be more Cap too for the 2 or 3 other Captain America fans that watch. Something I've dabbled with in the past and kind of have picked up on a little bit more recently is Doctor Strange, specifically his first ongoing series here from the, I want to say from the Bronze Age, maybe the Copper Age. We've got Doctor Strange issue number 12. Kind of just a cool cover. I don't know if I'm gonna go for a full run on this, but there are a number of just great spooky or just comics that feature cosmic characters, which I love Marvel Cosmic. So keeping my eye out for ones that really just pique my interest. Skulls and skeletons seem also appropriate for what is the Halloween season right now. And then what I picked up a few months ago was Marvel Presents, where it had the first regularly appearing Guardians of the Galaxy stories. And there are a bunch of issues. There were like 2 more that were in the 50% box, but the condition was just kind of really rough. So I went with the best of the bunch. We have Marvel Presents Guardians of the Galaxy issue 4. And issue 5. Most of the books, or these Marvel Presents books, were $4 to $5 each. Issue 8. And I really like this cover, issue 10, and they use a version of this in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the classic Guardians of the Galaxy trade paperbacks. The Marvel Presents Guardians that's a nice short run of like not even 10 or 12 issues. Very doable. Now looking at the next stack of books, which is a combination of half off listed price and then a big stack of dollar books, I have to correct myself from earlier in the video. I actually have 2 Silver Age books in this pickup. One is definitely a key issue. This other one coming up less so. In the 50% off box, I saw this issue of Daredevil number 64. For my previous video, I shared how I picked up Daredevil issue 37. So Daredevil Silver Age actually isn't that pricey, especially the non-key books. So at $5 here, featuring some jabroni named the Stuntmaster, I like the cover enough. I think for that price, I don't mind adding some to the collection. The other half-off books I got were this 90s-licious die-cut cover. Wow, second die-cut cover in this video. This is Mark Spector Moon Knight issue 50. This is where Moon Knight leaves the Avengers, and that's why he's burning up his Avengers card there. Very cool cover. This series, the Mark Spector one, in my head right now, what I want to collect from that are notable covers, and notable issues. Like there's a Moon Knight Ghost Rider issue where they meet for the first time. I don't think I want a full-on run of that title. However, I'm happy to buy any issues from that for if they're in the dollar bin, I will snatch those up. Maybe we'll see some more 90s Moon Knight in the upcoming videos. These next 2 were definitely cover buys. They are Spider-Man related. This one is holiday related too. We've got Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, issue 112. Yeah, that's Santa with sunglasses and a gun, looking like an 80s action star there. I couldn't, for $3, I couldn't pass that up. And similarly, we've got a negative space cover here, issue 127 from the same title, Spectacular Spider-Man. Very cool, featuring the Lizard coming in over there. Next is a big stack of dollar books. I got all this Captain America. I guess that doesn't look that crazy, but these were a few issues are from the Mark Gruenwald run, but a lot of them are from earlier, and I'm happy to collect more Cap for $1. So running through them real quick, 266. I definitely considered turning the camera around and using the stand, but I don't know. 270. Sometimes I just like this, this view here, so I can chat with you guys. Issue 273. Issue 274. Kind of very cool cover here. Cap against Baron Strucker. There's some key issues here too. I might miss some of them, but issue 276, I think this is the second appearance of the second Baron Zemo. Issue 277, there's that new Baron Zemo. And what I really like about mid 200s to late 200s, there's a lot of great Mike Zeck art, and that's inclusive of this one, issue 280. We've got issue 290, notable for the first Mother Knight, who is the daughter of Red Skull. She'd later be known as Sin. This one for $1 all day, even though there's a little corner fold there, but that's fine with me. Issue 293. I told you there's a lot of Cap. We're almost done. Issue 297. And last but not least, we have issue 307, which features the first appearance of Madcap. But wait, there's more as far as the dollar books. And a few of these, I started bagging and boarding some of the books. Haven't gotten to the whole stash yet, given the sheer quantity. I've been looking for this X-Men Annual number 6 that features features Dracula and a vampire storm. This is one of the last annuals I need to complete my little collection. It's not in the best of shape, but for $1, it's complete. It's all there. It's just it's just been well loved, and that's not a problem. Harkening back to Marvel Presents, I'm kind of glad that I skipped out on a kind of rough-looking Marvel Presents for $5 because I was able to find issue 7 for $1. Fun find there. Then you got issue Daredevil 235 here. And this last one, believe it or not, this is from the dollar box. It is Daredevil issue 182 during the Frank Miller run, and this issue follows up right after the love of his life, Elektra, was brutally murdered by Bullseye. So we got some Daredevil keys for $1 that are in, and this was in, I kind of flipped through it too. This is in solid shape, nothing wrong with it. So deals to be had in dollar boxes. And I forgot to mention, but this vendor is just a gentleman named Kurt. Pleasure to deal with. He does some local shows in Connecticut and Massachusetts, and he's definitely someone that was just fun to talk to. Actually, I'd say most of the vendors managed just to chat with them, as fellow collectors, and Kurt is definitely someone that I will keep an eye out for at future shows and conventions because he had just a great selection with great prices. Thank you guys so much for sticking through it so far. We are down to my last stack of books from a vendor which I did catch the name of, and they are Crimson Tide Collectibles. I believe they're based out of Rhode Island, and from what I understand, the main shows they do are Wicked Comic Con. So there's a Wicked Comic Con, the one I just attended, and then there's one coming up, I believe May 26th. They've already put the date out there, although guests and exhibitors, that kind of info is forthcoming. This was a load of fun. I got a lot of dollar books, a couple back issues. They only have one small box of back issues, but this is where I got my big boy book for the day. Again, they were a pleasure to deal with, so friendly. Let's just get right into it. First, from the back issue box, I got Amazing Spider-Man, Soul of the Hunter. And that is the price, $5. I've heard great things about this follow-up to Kraven's Last Hunt, so figured I'd snatch that. And then we got more Moon Knight. Moon Knight and Daredevil, funny enough, both street-level characters, are ones I'm very, very much actively hunting. And this is his first meeting with Daredevil, the original, first volume 1 of Moon Knight, issue 13. I've seen this go for a lot more. Conditions great, so for $5. Very happy with that. And then before we get to the piece de resistance, the best buy of the day, I have to say I was super happy. I say dollar book, but I'm remembering now, these are actually two for $1. So 50 cents each. I found so many missing pieces of various miniseries, in particular, miniseries, limited series that I've been on the hunt for. I was ecstatic just because it's kind of like finishing off a run, except with miniseries, if it's 4 to 6 issues, that's super easy. But given that they're fairly piecemeal and whatnot, I wasn't sure if I'd find them throughout the day, let alone all at one vendor. So to go through these fairly quickly, we got Mephisto versus the Fantastic Four. This was a 4-issue series where each issue is Mephisto versus someone else. So I have 2 and 4. I was missing 1 and 3. And issue 3 is Mephisto versus the X-Men. And then also Wolverine related, we've got Marvel Comics Presents issue 87. This one is notable because it features the first published art of Joe Madureira, who's known for his late 90s run of the X-Men. I think he might have just been a teenager when this got published. He's also from Long Island originally, where I grew up. So just a big fan of Joe Madureira and fond memories of his time on X-Men. So getting his first published work, that was a no-brainer for 50 cents. And then moving on, I got a whole mini-series that I think it's really the cover art by Barry Windsor Smith. I've got the 4-issue miniseries of Machine Man. So issue number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So over the course of the 4 covers, you see him get constructed and finally completed at the end. And then, yeah, still going. I got a couple issues of X Factor that, yes, I keep going back and forth whether I'm getting a full run or not, but at least I think getting the first 20 issues or something like that, I'd like to have the gaps filled in there. Again, it's for 50 cents too, so I think that's what got me. Sometimes I'm a sucker for a good deal, but issue number 7, issue number 8. Oh, and then these were just Rob Liefeld covers, so I don't know. I don't mind his work on X Factor. Issue 40 and issue 50. Got some feet on the cover there for you Liefeld fans, and they're strange. I don't know. He can draw. If he can draw beast feet, I don't know. Maybe we've been too hard on him, guys. And then finally, the last few, just some issues of Batman. This is rounding out my Night Quest story arc 507. 508. I'm down to one more issue to finish that arc. I think 509 is what I need. And it's a very common dollar book here. For 50 cents, I was going to add this just to have one in the collection. Batman, I think, is my, as far as collecting goes, is my main guy. I mostly enjoy reading DC. Funny enough, I'm not really hunting, in all these back issues, it is overwhelmingly Marvel, but we have a little bit of DC represented. Anyway, this very common book, I got one of the many covers of Batman Legend of the Dark Knight, issue 1. It was the pink one. Gotta go for the pink one, right? It does pop nicely. So those were the 50-cent books, and I had initially, wrapped up there, moved on, but then wouldn't you know, I ran into an acquaintance, Chinmo of Three Men in the Basement. I have had the pleasure of seeing him at previous shows and have some mutual friends, just all around nice guy. And you can go over to the Three Men in the Basement YouTube channel to find out more about what he bought, because he was about to make a big purchase back at Crimson Tide Collectibles. And also through Chinmo, I met one of the other vendors there, Sean of Comic CT. Both of them were highly recommending to check out the wall books. And I think I just had the blinders on to the wall books. They both mentioned that the gentleman at Crimson Tide was offering very good prices. And so something caught my eye. It was a Silver Age Spider-Man book. And I wound up walking away with it. So another Silver Age book to add to my slowly growing collection. Amazing Spider-Man, issue 51, featuring the first cover appearance of the Kingpin. And I have to say, although this was the listed price there, upon asking to take a look, and then if I could inspect, the interior, the back cover, everything checked out really nicely, I was offered the price of $50. And, I did a quick look on the phone just to, get some recent comps, but also just Chinmo saying, I don't think you're gonna find a better deal for that book if you want it. That pushed me over to purchase this. So, you know, home it came with me, into the Mylar it went, and man, it's a really beautiful cover. Kingpin with his ties to Daredevil as well. It was kind of a no-brainer, and I'm just really liking of the Silver Age books I've gotten. I mean, the Spidey ones are really good. I know some of them are going to be really pricey too, and I think if I try to adjust my overall comic budget, which, you know, I'm trying to whittle down on my monthly books, trying to get that down. I don't know. I want to whittle down my dollar pickups, or, you know, that dollar bin kind of stuff, but I do love digging in dollar bins. So maybe if we come up with some happy medium, more books like this, you know, kind of the whole quality over quantity, that's definitely the direction I'd like to go towards. But those are all the books that I picked up at Wicked Comic Con for the fall of 2025. If you have a favorite one, there were a lot of books to choose from. If you have a favorite amongst them, let me know in the comments. If you have an exciting Silver Age book that you picked up for your own collection, I'd love to hear about it, because that's a whole new part of this journey that I'm on now. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time out to watch this video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Happy collecting!